Hello everyone and welcome to Stat 200. I'll be your instructor for the course, Mr. Brian James. As this intro says, I've been teaching for 31 years, total of 26 or 27 at the college level, 23 of those full-time at the Pennsylvania College of Technology. And I teach statistics and some physics and some calculus. The time at World Campus has been great. I've been doing this since 2017. Stat 200 is a great introductory course for statistics for non-math majors. It gives you a nice overview so that you can apply some statistical concepts in both your fields and in everyday life. And I can't say enough about the instructional designers of this course. The way it is set up is very logical, easy to navigate. And I'm going to go through some of that with you here today. I also would like to tell you that in my time teaching this, over 75% of the students I've had in my sections of Stat 200 have scored an A or B. So it's a very doable course if you stay on schedule. Clearly we all have life obligations, but if you can stay on schedule and not wait till the very end to hand in assignments, I think you'll do quite well. So a little bit about the course navigation and some of the features of the course. So this is our home page, and it will have at the top here recent announcements that you'll be able to see. What you're going to need to do there is sign up for the notifications so that when I post an announcement, you get notification of it right away. That's what most students prefer so they don't miss anything. But my major mode of communication will be announcements. I'll send emails at times for reminders, but a lot of the time it'll be via announcements. Okay. So you'll see the last three announcements will be up top of the homepage every time, and then you can actually go back and look at old announcements in this announcements page. Okay, there are none here yet because we have none for our class at this point. Okay, course syllabus is in HTML format, and I'll be back to go over that with you and point out some of the features that I think you should see there. Course modules is where you do most of your work in this course. There is a module for each week, and as you can see here at the beginning, we start out with the general resources you need. So we have a tutor.com as an online tutor, proctored exams with Examity. All exams are proctored live with Examity. We have 3 exams, 2 in the semester and 1 final exam. And most people now are pretty much accustomed to this in an online environment. We need the integrity of the proctor. In fact, many universities will not transfer our class in now that is taken somewhere else without proctored exams. So this is pretty much industry standard now. And then help and support, if you have issues with any kind of technology, that would be here. We should see things like Wiley Plus and Examity, Minitab support, etc. Okay. All right. Lesson 0 literally is lesson 0. It doesn't count for a weekly lesson. It's just the orientation. And you want to go right down through this in order. Some of these things will not open up until the one previous is done. But you get an introduction, a discussion. You see these typically in each week. There's not much to do in this week as far as those go. But here I'll show you the statistics page for Penn State. You can update your Canvas profile, set those notifications I was speaking of. Here's our online notes for lesson 0 for the orientation, those types of things. Okay. And you can see down here that we have an introductory discussion board that I'd like you all to contribute to, so we get a little bit of sense of community and we know who each other is. Some people will really like using discussion boards as we go to ask questions, and then I can answer and help the entire class, or fellow classmates can answer, but not everyone does that. So it's not mandatory, but there is one each week for the content of that week. Okay. And you want to go right down through lesson 0 and do everything you need to do. Now, obtaining Minitab, we do have a lab component of this course, and Minitab is the statistical software we will use. If any of you have tried Stat 200 before, and unfortunately for whatever reason it didn't work out, we are not using Minitab Express anymore. Okay, Minitab will not give us access to that for Penn State students. So we are using Minitab, I believe it's 20, and all the information is here on how to obtain that. All right, and then in a typical week, you would see the similar format in every single one of these lessons. You'll get an introduction, which will be just a quick overview of what's happening in that week's worth of work. You will get the discussion board, so you can post up to the discussion board and ask questions of content as you need. In every lesson you will get a video lecture, so that's the lecture that was done on campus by an instructor, not myself, but the director of Stat 200, usually 45-50 minutes. So those of you who really like that kind of traditional lecture setting, you can do that at your own time. Most students do great in this class just by working through the online notes. The online notes are so comprehensive. They have embedded videos. They show exactly how to do everything in the class. In fact, I go as far as to say to students typically, there's nothing asked of you on any assessment or lab that isn't shown in these online notes. That's how thorough it is. That's how well done this course is by the instructional designers. We do have a lab each week, which I spoke of. So example lab assignments from the past will be here, so you can get a feel for those for each week, and the content. Obviously the concepts will be the same, but the numerical values, some of the content will be slightly different, but that gives you a good sense of what we expected in the past. Assignments then for the week. We always have a homework assignment on Wiley Plus. Those are usually between about 8 and 15 questions, so not a lot of work there. Those should ideally be done after we read the book and watch the online or look through the online notes. Now, I really believe that almost everyone can do the course at a decent level by just doing the online notes. Okay. For those of you who want to go a little further, a little more thorough, know you might need stats more in your field, maybe going to take an additional statistics, I would certainly think about reading the text and looking at the video lecture each week. We have a quiz each week. That quiz is set up to be taken by Tuesday nights. Everything is done by Tuesday nights in this class, Tuesday nights at midnight. That quiz can be taken twice, and the higher score counts. It's very important in my mind from a pedagogy thing for a student to learn the most. Don't just open the first quiz attempt. Take it, know you're not going to do well, and then just try to look at the question types so that you can immediately jump back in and take the next quiz. Do your best on the first one, get a decent score, and then remediate whatever you missed and come back and take the second quiz. The retake will be very similar, but slightly different. So they're coming from a Stat 200 test bank of questions that the instructors have made. So if you miss number 11 and you come back for number 2, quiz 2, it's not going to be number 11 verbatim again. All right. And then each week we have a lab. This lab submission is, this time we're going to try this. The labs are set up in Canvas in kind of a quiz format. They look like a quiz, but they're not treated like a quiz. So they're not timed. You do the lab rather than doing it on Microsoft Word. You do it in the setting of the Canvas environment here with the equation editor, etc. And you can come and go as you please. So you open it, start the lab, do problem 1, get out, come back another day. That's fine. It saves automatically every 7 seconds, and then it's due Tuesday night by midnight. This is a slight change in the way we present these labs in this course. We're hoping for more analytics after the fact, and doing it in this kind of setting, we can get those. And I think it'll be better for students and the graders as well. Okay. And we will have a UTA in this class, so I'll talk about that in a little bit. Someone grading the labs. I'll be grading all assessments. And then every week looks the same. Okay. You'll see that one of the nice features of this class is after 6 weeks, you have an entire week to take the midterm. Midterm 1, you have an entire week. So some of you can work ahead after you take it. Some of you can just take a break and take that. Different choices by different students, but midterm exam 1 gets a full week, and then you come back lesson 7, which would be actually in week 8, down through here, and at the end you're going to get the second midterm, another week, final 2 lessons of the course, and the final exam in the last week. So 2.5 weeks of the course are set up just for exams, time to review, etc., which is usually a really nice feature for students. Okay, so that's kind of an overview of the modules of the course. I want to jump back to the home page a second. I've been talking about these online notes. When you go to the online notes page, now these are integrated into lessons, but here is the entirety of it. Very well done. Okay. If you look at the bottom, there is a weekly schedule, what we think works best for students. So I've had literally probably 1,000 students in this class at this point, or somewhere around that in my 5 years of doing it. There are a lot of students who wait to the end here, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but then, I'm not sure they're getting as much out of the course, retaining as much. They don't get the immediacy of the answers if they need some help, because they waited till the end. People who start early and work their way through this logically, right, take some time, likely retain more, can get help along the way. It doesn't have to be urgency at the end. They have time to take the quiz once and then go back and take the quiz again. Just a good suggestion for that weekly schedule. All right. Wiley course resources. Again, those are built into the actual lessons, so you can get the homework weekly. Discussions. Those are the discussion boards for the class. These will all be set up and ready to go. I'll see these weekly, and we can interact that way. Your grades area, typical. I'm sure you're familiar with that from using Canvas. There's our tutor.com. I would say less than 5% use the tutor.com service each semester, but it's there and can be helpful. Examity will be our online proctoring service. Other than that, I think that's about it for the overview. Just get those notifications sent so you don't miss anything. Now let's go back to the syllabus and see if we can talk more details about the course. So you know who I am. My background is such that I have bachelor's in education, bachelor's in statistics, bachelor's in math, and a bachelor's in physics. And then I have 2 master's degrees, one in statistics education and one in applied statistics. And live in central Pennsylvania, have 3 adult children. My wife and I like to travel, particularly to beach areas. I really enjoy sports, basketball, golf, baseball, those types of things. Pretty diverse, own a few businesses, so a lot of different things that I enjoy. If you want to contact me via email, just use the Canvas email, and that'll work. I think on Mondays we'll do office hours at 8 o'clock on Zoom, so if you need any help, not mandatory. Again, not a whole lot of students attend that, but I want to make that available to you. The Zoom link will be included. And yeah, that should be good. I'm very good at getting back to you. So if you need some support, email or discussion board, you should see me getting back to you quite quickly. Course description, you can read through that. Prerequisite skills, not all that much, which is kind of neat, right? A lot of people fearful of the math. I want to show you again something kind of neat here in the notes that we start right out and we set the tone right from the beginning. When you go to the prerequisite skills at the bottom, very first thing, this is not a math course. While you will need to be able to apply some elementary mathematical procedures, multiplication, division, exponents, summations, the emphasis of this course is on proving statistical literacy and using technology to answer these questions. So you're not going to do a ton of, plug and chug mathematics. Nothing certainly above the Algebra 1 level. Okay. All right, tutoring we talked about, required materials. So you need access to Wiley Plus, tells you how to do that. Minitab 20 web app, okay? Any calculator will work that has scientific functions for the most part. Penn State suggested TI-30XX, XS. Many of you probably have a TI-84 or something like that from your background in high school at some point, but no fancy calculator really needed for this, just one that'll perform basic operations. Assignments and grading. So here's how they break down. You get a homework each week, you get a quiz each week that can be taken twice, and you get a lab each week. You can see how we weight them in the end. The 2 midterms count as 30% total, so 15, and the final exam 20. Wiley Plus assignments are due on Tuesday nights. You can get in and work on those, come back. They don't all have to be done at once, the traditional kind of online homework. The lab assignments, as we talked about, is now kind of in a Canvas type setting, almost feels like a quiz, but you can get in and out. That explains that. Quizzes, Tuesday nights, they're due by midnight, 2 attempts. Midterms and finals are very well done in here. Again, they're just like it says. These are just like large quizzes. They are set up just like our quizzes. The Examity proctoring service, I'll help you out a bunch with that. Make sure you're started. You even get a chance to take a practice Examity environment in case you haven't ever used Examity in the past. But again, that ensures some academic integrity in our class. Extension policy in general, I don't have a whole lot of extensions available unless there's an unpredictable emergency that you can contact me and I'll work with you. The labs can be submitted 20 points per day deduction. Homework problems can be completed even after the due date, but they go down to 50%. Quizzes, there's really not a lot of leeway, nor with tests. You're going to have to make them, make sure you take them within the window given. Grading scales, the traditional Penn State grading scale. Technical requirements, you're taking an online class, so you want to make sure you have good internet service, a somewhat recent computer, etc. Academic integrity we take very seriously in this class. Typically over 500 people taking this class at one time, many sections. We're always looking at Chegg and Course Hero, looking at old labs to see if anybody's trying to submit them. So you are protected if you're doing what you would expect to do as a student, and that is doing your own work. We will protect the integrity of the course. Okay, so please don't violate that. If you do, I'll have to turn you in with the Academic Integrity Violations Committee. If you have any disabilities that I need to know about, we have accommodations and coordinator disability services. They'll let me know and I'll work with you. Any need for counseling or psychological services, we have that available to you here. We have the educational equity and report bias. And this course is in fact, World Campus in general is very, very friendly with military and military obligations. So talk to us about that. And then your help resources. Okay. Again, I'm here for the statistical content. I can help a little bit with the technology, but if it's a technology issue, we're going to want to get you to the right person to help you there with the World Campus Help Desk or Wiley Plus. And then here's the schedule for the course. Okay. All right, I don't think I have much more to tell you other than that. Again, the course is generally well done, especially if you stay on schedule and take it seriously. I think the instructional designers have done a great job, and I try to do a great job of keeping you up to date with reminders. So I'll send out reminders. You don't have to in any way validate those and tell me what's going on, why you're late or later than usual for a submission. I just think part of my job as an instructor is not only the content, but to try to keep you on task as I would in a regular classroom. All right, folks, I wish you all the best of luck, and I'll see you real soon.